Hello everyone, this is Korosh Erfani and today is Thursday, March 19, 2026. We are going to report the 20th day of the war, the beginning of the 21st day, and it's a matter of the war of Israel and the United States on Iran. As you know, we got a new appearance of Benjamin Netanyahu again with a kind of appearance of let's say interview, which was not really the case, because it was Netanyahu on the one side, we don't know where exactly, and the only foreign reporters could ask the question, but remotely. So the question is why there is so many cases of the things that are completely bizarre. Even for this interview, people on social media are talking about the things that are very odd, as you can see here, for example. So the question is why Israel is playing with this card so let's say stupidly, right? That's the word that we have to use, because we don't know if he's dead. So it's normal to announce it and to accept that the Iranians could kill him with, I don't know, an attack or missiles or something. But we remember how Israelis did for Ariel Sharon during 8 years, right? Because they want to play. They want to play up the people in such a way that they can have the maximum of the benefit for themselves. That's a psychological war. But anyway, as they cannot really present a normal proof of Benjamin Netanyahu being alive, of course the people have a lot of doubts and questions with this regard, and they are sabotaging more and more the image of Israel, of course, among everyone. Why they are not able to have a face-to-face between Netanyahu and the reporters, the journalists, asking the questions, seeing him, in blood and flesh. So that's the very odd. Anyway, if it's the case, if the Iranian could really do away with him, it means that effectively anyone in Israel could be targeted by Iranians if they are able to have the intelligence and also the capability of sending something over there, the location. It means that no one from the leadership of Israel now is at safe, right? So that's a very important point. The second, Netanyahu came and talked about a lot of things. The worst thing imaginable, that was not a coherent speech at all. So we don't know why he was talking about a lot of religious, historic things, historical facts, ideological, religious, of the Zionism, the things like that. But anyway, there is one interesting point here, as Haaretz emphasizes. As you can see, Netanyahu said that a revolution in Iran requires a ground offensive. So now it's a matter of preparing the context in order to send the American soldiers on the ground. Why? Because Israel needs a revolution in Iran, as all the plans regarding regime change, regime collapse, overthrowing regime, uprising the people, and so on finally failed lamentably, we can say, now they are organizing a revolution, because he said that we cannot make a revolution from the air, right? We have to do it underground. And as the Iranian people don't want to make this revolution, of course the American soldiers can do that for them, right? So that's why sorry, in the second phase of this quagmire that Israel prepared for the United States, now it's a matter of sending the American soldiers over there, and we know that the result would be just catastrophic, disastrous, right? We are talking about a real stupid plan that would kill thousands and thousands of the American soldiers for the benefit of Israel. And this is something that we are going to see if American society is able really to digest that or not. I would be really surprised that such a thing could be acceptable for Americans, but anyway, everything is possible. We will see. But let me remind you that according to our analytical framework, now we are in a phase where the United States must go, deeper and deeper in this Israeli quagmire. This is how it is organized. What's the outcome? We know that the outcome of this phase 2, the boots on the ground, would be catastrophic, really. But Israel wants that. Israel wants that the result be completely disastrous in such a way that when we get to the phase 3, President Trump won't have any other choice but nuke Iran, right? This is what Israel wants. Israel knows that if it itself carry out the nuclear bombing of Iran, it would be really an uprising in the Islamic world against Israel, and Israel won't be able really to go away with that, to escape the really fatal fate that it's going to have, which means the disappearance of Israel from the map of the world. So that's why Israel is trying to bring the United States to do so, to do this dirty job, right? In such a way that the world starts to talk about the fact that Americans nuked Iran, and now if there is any reaction, that would be a superpower against the United States. While for the case of Israel, the other countries like Pakistan, for example, or North Korea can react actually by bombing Israel by the nuclear weapons. But for the American case, that would be different. So we must be almost sure that we are getting there. In my latest video, I said that we must brace for the worst case scenario, right? And the worst case scenario is to nuke Iran, and that's all. But I said that would be just the beginning of the end. And I am talking about the end of the whole life on Earth. Any nuclear attack on Iran would be the starting point of an international conflict that will turn into a nuclear world war, without any doubt. And a lot of people are talking about that. I mentioned yesterday and the day before Professor Jeffrey Sachs that is saying that Israel is bringing the world toward the World War III. And World War III cannot be but nuclear, right? Now, Israel is becoming somehow dysfunctional. The Zionist entity is almost now out of service, out of order. The people cannot even get out of the country. We have the news that says that Ben Gurion airport is dysfunctional, and the people are trying to find the other ways to just walk away Israel. For example, some people are fleeing by the land border in Egypt and in Jordan, right? Some of the people are paying the equivalent of $2,000 in order to have a ship that bring them to one of the Cyprus island. From them, from there they try to find a kind of airplane. So this is what they are doing. They came in order to establish the greater Israel, and now they are fleeing the little Israel. This is the fate of the Zionists who try to conquer the world, the whole world. They want to conquer the whole world, and for now they are trying just to get off Israel. Now the situation is very bad because Israel is damaging any possibility that could be operational at a given moment to put an end to this war. The last one, as we discussed yesterday, was effectively an energy war, right? By bombing the gas installation of on the Iranian territory. Israelis triggered the reaction of Iran, and from that we got effectively a huge energy crisis right now across the world. Without any hesitation, we are getting something extremely bad in such a way that now the world has to mobilize to do something, for the question of energy. Let me just quote Wall Street Journal that is mentioning the Saudi Arabia's official talking about the prices of oil that could soar to $180 a barrel if war-related disruptions persist until late April, until let's say 3-4 weeks, right? So now we are talking about the oil at 110, 115, right? Of course, that's a price that you can find on the paper only. When you want really to make the transaction, for example, at the market of Oman, right now the oil barrel is just $149 to $150. So we are not very far from the $180 that the Saudis official are telling us, which means that we must be waiting for something unbearable for the American society, for the American country, for the Western countries, and for the global economy. So we are heading toward a serious global economic crisis, and we don't know consequences because we are just at the beginning. The people in the United States start really to have a kind of nightmare. Look at this very short report.
They don't even believe it. $8. $8.21. You might as well get you a horse.
Bro, what you doing? It go right there.
Bro, $6, bro? Yeah.
Bro.
They can pick that shit up.
Now, I am not paying $9 motherfucking for gasoline. No way.
Are you kidding me right now? Are you kidding me?
Well, I can't lie to you. This gas is getting crazy in Georgia, bro.
Good Lord.
Fuck you, Donald Trump, fuck you, Donald Trump, fuck you, Benjamin Netanyahu, fuck you, this shit.
Look, 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 look. Look,
You guys really
look
got
at
me
this.
like,
Somebody come look
looking
at
at
this.
Doc.
Not gonna play with me, bro, because I'm not gonna play. I don't got nothing to lose. I don't got no family, nigga. I don't got no kids, nigga. I don't got nothing, nigga.
So you remember we said that in the United States, if you want to have the public interest, the public attention, public opinion concentration on a subject, you have just to touch these kind of things, price of food, gas, and rent, right? And from that moment, of course, you can have a lot of people as supporter or as opponent. So this is what is going on, and the people start effectively to realize that everything is going in the direction that is desired and dictated by Israel to the puppet that is in White House, and the puppet has to obey, otherwise he is going to have a lot of issues with the Epstein files, for example, and other things, because we got that according to the new publications of Epstein file, Donald Trump had been also involved in the human trafficking business. So which means more issues, more trouble for Donald Trump if he wants to really stop the war and bring all the attention of the Americans over the Epstein file. So you can imagine that Epstein file will be most probably the main cause that can explain, just in the chain of the cause and effect, what will make for the World War III. Epstein file, World War III, right? This is how the things are usually in the history, right? You can see that the little event has the huge consequences. This is it. And don't forget that here, Epstein file is not an isolated case, is one piece of the puzzle that had been made by the Zionists, in order to get everything done for the benefit of their agenda, for the interest of the idea of the greater Israel. So if there is a World War III, atomic one, most probably we have just one main reason for that, and which will be Zionism, which will be Israel. And then, of course, consequently, a lot of things, including Epstein file, AIPAC, and so on, but these are the details. So the origin of the issue will be the fact that the Zionists, as an entity that was not really compatible with the human civilization, had been shaped, took place, and started to develop, spreading out in Europe and in the United States, and then in the Middle East as the Zionist entity based on the terrorism and occupation. And from that moment, it was impossible to imagine that the world can get rid of this, otherwise than by a world war, right? A world war that will put an end to any form and shape of life on earth. This is what is happening. Now, why I insist so much in my presentations on this point? Because everything, but almost everything, is going in that direction, and you cannot see anything else. You remember, United States believed that by exposing, by showcasing its mighty military force, it would be able to, scare any country, any state, and bring it down. They did it to Panama. They did it to Venezuela. They wanted to do it with Greenland, Denmark. So they said that if we do it with Iran, it would work also. With everyone can work. Why? Because we are so powerful, we are so mighty, we are so potent that no country, no nation state can stand up against us. So they did it. One of the puzzle, don't forget that, in one of the components, the main component in this technological military force, at least for the case of attacking Iran, first surrounding and then attacking Iran, was the use of for example, aircraft carrier. At least 3 of them across the region in the Persian Gulf, and among them also the stealth airplane of the famous jet fighter of F-35, right? Because they said that this is something nobody can see, nobody can catch, nobody can hurt. So they were sure that with F-35 they are able to do whatever they want. So some calculations are showing that the money United States spent to really set up these kind of jet fighters and then produce them, right? I don't know, as many as necessary for the US Air Force, could be estimated to something like $2 trillion. $2 trillion for development, research, development, and fabrication. Okay, to produce as many as necessary. $2 trillion. What was the idea? What was the grounds for that? That we are fabricating something that cannot be cannot be caught by enemy, cannot be seen, is stealth, is invisible. It's the cream of the crop of the U.S. technology in the field of military. So that's why they thought that's good. Of course, the Zionist companies were there with the huge lobby on the Congress, and in order to get billions and billions and billions to produce them as much as necessary. Okay, they did that, and they started to show off, here and there. For example, in Venezuela. Venezuela, with an army of, I don't know, 5 grade in the ranking in the world among the more Venezuelan armies, far from the top anyway. And they thought that it can work everywhere. We bombed Yemen with this jet fighters. They bombed Syria, for example, Libya, and everywhere. So it worked, and that's why they were so sure and so proud of this crown of their military technology. But what happened today is unbelievable. Because Iran, that was supposed to, having lost everything, and this is what they were saying from the beginning, from start to finish. They are saying that the Iranians are over, the Iranian army is over. There is nothing that they can do for defend themselves or for attack. So talking about all the time declining Iranian military force and so on. And suddenly Iran is able to do something that the whole world is watching surprisingly, which is to chase the F-35, which means to really getting down the cream of crop of the U.S. military technology, right? F-35. Not only Iran hit one of them, but also, as you can see now, the people are reporting that the U.S. Army lost, the jet. They don't know where it is. They know that it had been hit, right? But where is it? Where it had fallen? They have no idea. That's the idea of just to see what I said in one of my videos, that the cannibals, the pedophiles that want to put an end to the life on earth, of course they have a lot of money, they have technology, they have software, hardware, and so on. But don't forget that when it comes to the efficiency and effectiveness, that's something that they cannot really ensure for themselves. Not really. And that's why other countries with a little ingenuity, they are able to do the thing that would be completely upside down all the calculations that the cannibals, pedophiles, Epstein class had done. Because in accordance with the news, Iranians are showing effectively the airplane, right, the jet, first recognized, identified, and then followed and finally hit. So this is showing that now the Iranians are able to do something unbelievable, which is to chase F-35 and also B-2 bombers. So if it's the case, if it's not really accidental, but it can be repeated, and the Iranians are saying that. They are saying that from now on we are able to do so. And we don't know by what hardware or software or technology or whatever they are doing so. We don't know how the Iranians are able to chase the stealth, invisible airplanes. But what is interesting is that if there is such a capability among the Iranians, now we are a new proof of total failure of the United States and Israel in this war. Total failure. Because if they cannot really maneuver on the Iranian sky with this kind of jets and with the, let's say, the top of the technology, what else they can do have. I am pretty sure that the Iranians will find something, for example, to face even the B-52, which fly, very high, but it's possible because they were not supposed to be able to do so to F-35, but they did. Maybe in the coming days they are able to do it to the B-2 bombers and later to B-52. So from that moment, I think the United States doesn't have anything as the winning card in this game. And don't forget that before it, they were showcasing the aircraft carriers and their extremely important role for having a military upper hand, upon Iran. And we saw that finally because of a few drones, not even missiles, a few drones, make them escape, right? Not only they have the internal problem, the technical problem of maintenance, or most probably the internal sabotage by the American soldiers and navies, but also because of the threat of the drones, they fled effectively the region, the Persian Gulf. And now they are at least at 1,000 kilometers of the Persian Gulf. So, which means that when it comes to using the technology to face the Iranians, the Americans are showing that we don't have anything more to exhibit, to apply on the basis of what's happening. As a matter of fact, Iran is able to face almost any component of the American army for now to resist. So if it's the case, if in the coming days really the whole world, including maybe the Americans, realize that they cannot have something, an element determining the fate of the war. They don't have anything. Bombers, jet fighters, aircraft carriers, and that were really the main components, the main levers of the Americans in order to do something, to crush, as they said, and make the Iranian military system collapse. But they couldn't. After having bombed, according to some sources, 15,000 points, in Iran, they are still getting hit across the whole region in all the Arab countries. The American military bases are getting hit on a daily basis, and of course in Israel is a catastrophe, is a nightmare, really. Why? Because every 9 hours the people in Israel have to go into the shelters. It's a matter of almost 7 million people each time have to go to the shelter. Just in the last 24 hours, it's a matter of 9 times, in the wave, 64, 65 of the IRGC, sending multiple waves of missiles over there. And they had, something like 9 times interrupting everything, life, work, sleep, and going to the shelters. And that's the reason for which we can see that thousands and thousands, and according to some sources, hundreds of thousands of Israelis are trying to get out, to leave the country. So what's the solution? If the Americans don't have any leverage, anything that can give them a real upper hand in this war, what would be the solution? So the first thing, you remember, President Trump asked for help because they know that the Americans cannot do anything by themselves, at least not anymore. So that's why they ask for European, Japan, Australia, and so on. Please come and join us. Please come and help to do something so that we can reopen the Strait of Hormuz. The price of the oil per barrel is going, is stepping up to $200 very soon, and then we are going to have $10 gas per gallon here in the United States. So I will be cooked, I will be doomed, I will be destroyed. Please come and help. So as you can see, they said that, okay, we will see how we can make appropriate efforts. What is appropriate efforts? We don't know. But in order just to give an answer to President Trump, they are talking in this zombie language to say that, okay, we are going to do something. But it's not working. So what would be the solution? The solution is maybe now that the technology cannot do anything, what about using a huge number of human force and putting them, in the Iranian territory in order to get the job done? What job we don't know, but some job done, right? So what would be the realization, the material translation of this idea? Bringing some hundred of thousands of American soldiers, right, and putting this herd into the Iranian territory so that they do something. I don't know. Nobody knows, because we have the people like Trump with an IQ of a 10-year-old boy, and he would be the chief commander of the U.S. Army to send some 100 to 500,000 soldiers in Iran. And the Iranians, of course, said that we are waiting for that. We are dying to have this opportunity. It shows really they are scared. The Iranians really scared to face, the American soldiers over there. So now thousands and thousands of American forces are waiting for President Trump to give a go-ahead, and from that moment we will be in the phase 2 of the Israeli quagmire. Thousands and thousands of Americans will get killed over there, thousands and thousands injured, and most probably several hundreds captured. A real nightmare is waiting for any forces, any boot on the ground, right? A real nightmare. We will see that because 99% of those who have something that is called brain are recommending President Trump not to do so. We will see that 99% of the wise people on the one side and 1% stupid cannibal pedophile Zionist on the other side. Which one will really prevail, over President Trump to push him to do what is necessary? Okay. Now, let's think about the cards that the Iranians have still to play in order to make this nightmare a little more nightmare. Is it possible? Because we said that the Americans don't have anything. They had F-35, they had B-2 bomber, they had aircraft carrier, and none of them are really a determining an important element, essential element, for this war. So what would be the solution? We said that maybe sending several hundreds of people over there, and we will see if it's the case and if it can work or not. But let me show you one of the cards that the Iranians now want to play. So today the Houthi are announcing officially that it's time to enter this war, because you remember we said, I mentioned several times that the Houthi are a very important and critical element for what is going to be played in this war, right? Because they can really achieve the huge goals for the Iran side, right? They can attain the objectives that are not really possible otherwise for Iran because of their geopolitical location and status. And now we can see that they decided to come effectively into this war. So we have several confirmation by the different sources that the Yemeni army is preparing itself to face effectively Israel and the United States and the region, right? So we have already mentioned what they are able to do so, right? They are able to do a lot of things on the region. They can close the Bab el-Mandab Strait, right? They can make impossible any shipping in the Red Sea, and in this case, we are going to have serious trouble for any commercial transition over there, and that would be a huge blow to already agonizing the global economy. This is what is going to happen from the moment these Houthi Yemeni decide to come really into this war. Because we can see that already by the activation of the Hashd al-Shabi, the Shia groups in Iraq, and also Hezbollah in Lebanon. Israel and the United States now receiving the different attacks and blows from other fronts, right? Which means that Iran now tries to break down this surrounding circle in such a way that one part of the forces of the enemy would be dedicated to Iraq, to Lebanon, and now it's a matter of Yemen. But Yemen is in a very specific location where it can spread chaos almost in the North Africa, in all Arab countries in the Persian Gulf, for the Israel, because they have now, and the Houthi have the missiles with the range that cover Israel, right? And they have tried that, and it worked several times. The Ben Gurion airport had been hit by Houthi, you remember, in the previous round of the conflict, and now they have more long range of missiles to hit Israel. So imagine that from a few days ago, we have a new phenomenon, which is the waves of missiles that are coordinated by Iran and Hezbollah and come really to Israel in such a way that the Israeli defense system is not really able to catch them at all. So that's why more places are hit, more casualties, and more material damages. That's why I told you that Israel is on the brink of an implosion, because they cannot really deal with all of this. And can you imagine that they don't have any other solution? The United States, for opening the Strait of Hormuz, doesn't have any solution. Israel, to prevent all these missiles and drones coming to its territory and killing, injuring the people, damaging the buildings, billions and billions of dollars of damages. It doesn't have any solution. It doesn't have anything. So they don't know what to do. They started a war that cannot be won by those who have initiated it. They are really in a standstill. They are trapped somehow. Of course, in the middle of this, they are trying to make money, right? They are trying to sell more and more, even in these conditions. Look. This is one of the benefits of war. U.S. approves $60.5 billion arms sales deal to Gulf state amid rising Iranian tensions. This is the moment. And you know who are the most beneficial of this new situation here? You know, that's a family issue. These two guys, Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner, are those who, at the best of Israel, on behalf of Israel, pushed President Trump with the reports that were completely false, or the main beneficial of this network. So Witkoff, with his two sons, Alex Witkoff and Zach Witkoff, at the top of the group that are producing drones and missiles to sell to the Arab countries, right? And of course, the family of Trump, with what is necessary to finance the new established plant for producing, the new drones and selling it to the Arab countries, and also selling thousands and thousands, the equivalent of billions and billions of dollars, going to the pocket of the family of Witkoff and Trump, with the contracts that Pentagon, which means the guy who is with Trump, I think Pete Hegseth or something like that, is giving them. So that's why Pete Hegseth is asking, as soon as possible, please give us $200 billion that we need for this war that is so necessary to wage, right? So the bad news is that those who are against this pedophile Epstein class, they are organizing themselves. And they are organizing in such a way that all the plans and projects of Zionists or the United States are thwarted, are impeded. For example, we got a new explanation regarding how Hezbollah was able to rebuild itself, in such a way that right now they are facing unbelievably strong against Israeli army in southern Lebanon. So how they did that? You remember when we talked about the theoretical framework, we said that the enemy of humanity, of course, has a lot of things, a lot of sources or resources at its disposal. But on the other hand, the side that is resisting, because it's a matter of existential threat, right? It's to be or not to be question for them, for Palestinians in Gaza, in West Bank, for the Lebanese, for Iranian, and so on and so on. So they are able to use really unlimited, uncountable ways, techniques, and tactics to resist. On the other side, the Epstein class, that has a huge army, of course, can spend billions and billions of taxpayers' dollars for its goals and objectives. But on the other hand, they have some limits, because they have to put a lot of money to do whatever. Every day of this war is going to have $1 billion of cost for the United States. I am not talking about all the damages, the material and financial damages for other people or other countries, just this aspect, the financial aspect of, or the cost of the war for the United States would be something like $1 billion per day, very soon. As soon as they bring some people over there, you will see that $200 billion will be just the beginning of a huge amount of money that they have to spend. Imagine that for something much simpler, like Afghanistan and Iraq, finally they spent more than $8 trillion. right? So now here, just for 20 days, they are asking for 200 billion, and of course next month they will ask for 400 billion. In 6 months they will ask for 1 trillion, and so on and so on. So don't forget that it's a completely decreasing system. It's a collapsing system, and it doesn't matter to spend 100 billion for this war or $1 trillion. Anyway, both of them are the fictitious money. They are just the concept of money. They are ritual money. There is no anything that can be considered as the real material basis for billions and billions of dollars that the United States government is spending on a daily basis. It's just a system, a visual system that they created, and nothing is real. And you will see when the bubble will blow up, the people will realize how much fictive or fictitious was really the whole system. A system that is baseless, a system that doesn't have any material support, any real support for the US dollar, but they are printing billions and billions and billions of dollars because it's just a visual number on the computers. We know that national debt of the Americans have passed the bar of $39 trillion a few days ago. Now we are heading toward $40 trillion for $40,000 billion. 40, 80, when the money is virtual, you can just type a few number on the computer, and the government will have billions and billions. Because already these $39 trillion we are talking about it doesn't have any reality. There is nothing that the U.S. government can transfer in something material in order to pay back this money, right? The fact that the different countries are not asking for the money payback, they know, they are conscious that there is no such a thing. There is no such money in the U.S. Treasury. So as soon as they ask for their money, the whole global economy will collapse, will falling apart, will falling to pieces. So that's why they don't want to trigger human catastrophe, global catastrophe, and they avoid that. But don't forget, we are going toward the phase 2 of this war, where, again, like in the first phase, the first phase was supposed to be 2 days, 3 days. They were talking about a few hours to get the job done, to get the mission accomplished. Now we are at the beginning of the 21st day, right? So the idea is that let's go through the phase 2, where we will boot on the ground. We will bring some 500,000 of the Americans whose life doesn't have any value for Epstein class, and try to do something in order to justify these 200 billions and asking for 300-400 billions more, right? So of course there would be a lot of people who will be killed, injured, captured. There would be the problems for the people across the world, starving, food crisis. In the United States the people will be angry, and so, but who cares? Because they know that they have already lost the game. The whole game is lost to them, to President Trump and all the psychopath circle that is with him. So they know that they have lost. Now, what's the importance of the quantity of money or people's lives or whatsoever. That's the idea of apocalyptic approach I was talking about before. They are in a kind of nihilism that cannot really leave them thinking in a rational way at all. If you listen to what had been produced as the speech of that, AI, real or whatsoever, Benjamin Netanyahu today, that was a complete apocalyptic rhetoric. He was talking about the necessity of going toward Armageddon in order to save, we don't know what exactly. But what was sure is pushing the war toward Armageddon, the final fight. And I am telling you, the phase 2 will be more catastrophic than the phase 1, and of course it will lead to just what we can say phase 3, and the phase 3 is the ultimate phase of this war, and that would be also the ultimate war, the final war. There won't be any war after that, because in the aftermath of the phase 3 there won't be anything that we can call world, life, human beings, human species, human race on earth. That would be a total destruction. Someone asked me, on the one hand, the Zionist wants to get rid of the human race, and on the other hand, to do so, they have to wage an atomic war that will put an end to their own life. So it's not contradictory? No, it's not. Contradictory for a rational mind? Yes. That's why we are surprised. That's why it's so hard to us to understand how they think and they function. But to themselves, as psychopath, as the people who are, as Jeffrey Sachs says, clinically psychopath, which means that they would have been in the psychiatric hospital, hospitalized in a very special conditions, but they are now dominating the world. A little bunch of pedophile, criminal, psychopath, crazy. You can be sure on the basis of that they will set fire to the world. And the way that they are going to do so is just going deeper and deeper in this Iranian quagmire created by Israeli, and at the end of the day they don't have any other choice but nuking Iran, to bombing with the nuclear bomb the whole Iran, and from that moment triggering an international conflict which will be 100% sure nuclear. And from that moment, nothing, but absolutely nothing. And believe me or not, there are more and more people who are getting to the same conclusion. Here I have another example by Dr. Yüksel Hoş, who is talking about that. This guy is from a postdoctoral candidate for the military geography and ethnocultural and political geography. Okay, he's a professor of geography and editor, and in his post, after having explained exactly what is going on in the Iranian war, at the end, it will, his presentation leads to the same conclusion. He says, this, of course, is only conceivable in the most extreme circumstances. In such case, the total destruction of any power daring to deploy nuclear weapons against Iran, reduced to the point of having no presence left on Earth, would become a lasting mark on human history. So you remember we said that would be the final war, the the war against Iran would be the final war. He says the same thing. If Iran prevails, humanity prevails. If Iran falls, the next war will no longer be the struggle of a single nation, but of all free and sovereign people. That is the international conflict I am talking about. And don't forget that the planet doesn't have the capacity of a normal war, a conventional war of all nation and sovereign people. It's unimaginable. It's just fantasy, right? As soon as the conflict becomes international, we can be sure that among 9-10 countries equipped with nuclear weapons, we are going to have for sure nuclear World War III. Thank you very much for watching this video. Please help me to share these videos with more and more people if you can share them, and otherwise you can leave your comments on these YouTube videos so that we can have a kind of brainstorming. Thank you very much and see you in the next video. Bye bye.